Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's live trading session, along with a review of the week. It's been an exceptional week. Winning days every single day this week. Today may be the exception. We'll have to wait and see, we'll look at that in a few minutes. But for the time being, we'll just keep an eye here on what's going on in the market. So in the last 35-40 minutes, we've seen a reasonable sell-off in the indices. We've seen the currencies go, or sterling and the euro, get a little bit weaker, so the dollar has been strengthening. DAX has come off as well. So we've seen a few different things happening, and we can see that on these markets at the moment. The Dow's hovering around 37,600, higher than where it closed yesterday, but we've been up. Let's just have a look at the Dow for the time being. So you can see there, I just put some crosshairs on this, you can see that we've been up to about 37,710, 720 this morning. We have been higher, going back to the beginning of January. We've got moves here and moves here, where we've gone significantly higher, but we've fallen away from those highs today. Probably the best part of 100 points off of those highs that we saw earlier. I did mention that I didn't want to buy either at new highs or at either intraday highs or new record highs. One of the things I've got on the side of the screen here, just for you to have a quick look at over in the corner, is I've pulled the S&P 500 up as well, just so that we can see that and how that's reacting into the open. So the record high on the S&P, this is obviously Vantage's version of the S&P, but we're around 48.02 was the record. We did go through that earlier, traded up to about 48.09 before we had a bit of a sell-off. So this, for me, there's a couple of, probably 3 or 4 different things that are affecting the market today. We did have a 3-day losing streak in the Dow. It's looking to change that. Obviously today, yesterday we did change that. We had the market finish higher. We've had some real optimism over what's going on in the AI market again. Nvidia trading up to a record high yesterday. Some of the other chip makers coming out with real positive news. And so when you combine all of that, the fact that we're trading back towards these record levels in the S&P 500, didn't really want to get involved this morning on the equity markets. Now I have stepped in since then, stepped in far too early as it currently stands, but the other thing that I was also worried about in the run-up to the opening bell today is that the markets have generally started off more positively. So if you get a combination of the AI optimism, you get the S&P 500 hitting this record high, whether that's intraday or potentially overnight, the fact that potentially you could trigger a load more stops coming into this opening bell, and a general optimism or some renewed optimism around interest rates and what's going on there. There is a lot of potential for this market to go higher and go higher quickly. So decided to get back involved on this pullback. Firstly in the DAX, which gave me a bit of exposure to the upside, but also with the Dow as well. So we'll monitor those trades as we go into the open. But for the time being, the Dow hovering around that 37,600 level. It's holding up there. The S&P 500 has just ticked off a little bit as well. The DAX is holding around this 16,550 level, and will benefit from any form of normality or strength coming into the Dow. Even if the Dow holds firm around these levels, you could very well see a bit of a tick higher in the DAX, just proving that confidence or that certainty that we're going to see renewed strength or continuing strength in the Dow into the open. So that's the position at the moment. Gold jumped up this morning, traded up to about 20 37, I believe, before giving way back down at 20.32. My natural inclination would have been to sell the indices this morning. Probably would have looked at. I probably would have started around the 550. Certainly would have been involved in selling by the time that we've got to 600. So that would have been reasonably heavy against me early this morning, but looking quite favourable right now. So we're about 3.5 minutes away from the opening bell. We'll have a quick look at the trades for this week afterwards. If you do have any questions, as always, please put those through on your screens or email me, nick@bullandbearcap.com, and I'll do my best to answer them. I don't have the screen open at the moment in case there are any questions. Depending on how the opening goes, might need to drop off reasonably quickly afterwards and have a look at the trades and how they're performing. But hopefully we'll get about 5 or 10 minutes afterwards to look at the market, see where they're moving to, and then go on from there. So just a couple of things that we spoke about on that introduction. I'll bring this down to a 1-minute chart. You can see there the move was a little bit higher than I was expecting. Went up to about 20.38.50 in early morning trade, and then sold off fairly aggressively from there. I am long the currencies, long sterling, long euro, so I haven't really been inclined to get involved in gold today. I have enough currency exposure. And just really waiting to see if we can see a bit of a resurgence in both euro and sterling. Sterling did actually cross above 127 early this morning. It's fallen back about 28 pips from those levels. I am long at those levels, unfortunately, but I'll continue to monitor that during this afternoon session and see how we go from there. So as it stands at the moment, the Dow's currently trading around 37,600 still. About a minute and a half to go now to the opening bell. So what I'm probably going to do is I'll switch over to the Dow and we'll see how this goes through at the open. As I said, there is optimism out there. There is potential for positive news. Or more optimism is probably a better description of what's going to go on from a rate perspective. We've had several Fed officials over this course of this week reiterating the line that it is all data dependent. The data remains strong. Unemployment claims were lower than expected yesterday. Retail sales were good. Jobs data has been very resilient over the last period. So the economy remains robust, it remains resilient, the consumer is exactly the same, but we're continuing to see a bit of a sell-off here into the Dow. So very close to the opening bell now. I'm just going to bring that market up again now. So I'm just going to, just for the sake of this opening session, I've just gone long, very slightly long there again at this 580 level, just waiting for the market to open. Plenty of spoofing before this opening bell, as you can see. So the market is opening now. You can see this extra little bit of a move that we're seeing into the open there. Sorry, that's one of my orders going through, and we've pumped up there just a little bit around that 6. So that trade I just did, I'm just going to close that. You'll see that coming through on your phone. Drop back down. Might get re-involved around these levels, just around that 575 level. So I've done that. That will come through on your phone. The orders are coming through there now. A little bit of a push higher again. Just going to close that. So 2 nice trades there. Around the opening bell. It's going to push on. I just need to check the other levels that I traded before. So the market's slightly against me at the moment, but I am expecting some of that bid to or that buy-in to come back through. As I said, we are sort of back down to the level that I've traded twice already. No harm in repeating a trade, so it's a little bit lower there. We'll just get back into the market, fairly similar levels to where I traded on the first 2 occasions. Market is just off a little bit on this occasion, but the market is fast, it's choppy, There are buyers coming in. You're probably going to see a certain amount of people fearing that they're going to miss out on this rally. So we've had another decent rally back there towards that 600 level, just hovering there, not really pushing on, but sorry, missed an exit there, unfortunately. We have to hope we get a second chance at that. Not quite there at the moment, and the trades, we're seeing that come off a little bit. So hopefully a few of you did get out at that 600 level. Unfortunately, I missed it. My phone wasn't quite ready for the trade as I was talking. So we're, and it is fast, right? So probably best to use limit orders when we trade back up to those levels. But for the time being, it looks like I'm going to be holding on to that for a little bit just during this session and see where we go from here. It's not badly against me, probably 10 to 15 pips at this point, but we're still seeing the currencies come off, unfortunately. May well be that I'll look to do something there. You can see there with the S&P 500, we've traded off a good few points there in this early part of trading, but we're not seeing any major selling coming into this market. There is a meeting of minds, if you like. There's a bit of buying, immediately counteracted with a bit of selling, bit of buying, bit of selling, and we're staying in a reasonably tight range as we currently see. So it's pushed back up there to my entry point. Really up to you. I don't think we're seeing a strong directional move at this particular point. I do still think that trading from the buy side is probably preferred. We're just trading up there, slightly above my entry point, but it is very, very fast. If you are in this market, as I said, you're probably best to use limit orders to get out of these because it's moving too fast for you to react on it from that particular basis. So I don't have the opportunity to put limit orders in as I'm talking to you and trying to use the my mobile device at the same time. But as I said already, no major sell-off to this point. Not seeing any momentum there, and I think once these opening orders have passed through this market, we'll get a clearer idea on where the direction is from here. I'm still of the opinion that there's enough positivity out there to see this market trade a bit higher. So I'm going to hold on to that trade for a bit. No need to rush out of it at the moment. I think it's got another potential run up to that 600 level and above, and I'll hold on and see if we see that. My stops today, the auto stop is a bit tighter than normal, just because it's been such a good week. There's absolutely no point giving all of those winnings back, so I'm looking to protect that to a certain degree, but also give myself the opportunity to make a little bit more on the upside, but not going to be too aggressive either with risk, the number of trades that I take, or anything to jeopardize the current position. So just looking at the currencies, you can see them on the side of my screen there. They are continuing to drip away a little bit. Looking for a bit of a pickup there. Obviously the currency trades, for those of you who are new to the service, the currency trades are generally bigger than the other trades, so they have a more significant impact. That's why we're taking smaller returns on them and looking to get into those trades fairly frequently and often. So just from a trading perspective for the week, you can see there's a couple of Dow trades to add in here, but the profit for the week at the moment is 1,142 pips. There are a couple of trades against me, so that's going to come down pretty noticeably from that point. As I said, it's been a positive week. Very few losing trades. Winning day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday so far. Tuesday, the better day of those. And if you do have questions in relation to the trading, it has been quite fast and furious this week. I admit a lot more trading than I would normally anticipate to be doing. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to those markets now, and I'll join you on Telegram very, very shortly. Thank you very much for joining me.